All right, peeps. Gonna go ahead and do a final harvest here. I haven't done a video in a while. End of October. Today's I think the 20th, 21st, 19th, somewhere in there. But this weekend, tomorrow's supposed to be raining all day. Get down to about 34. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is gonna be down low 30s, high. I think I saw high 20s 1 or 2 days, like 29 degrees. So I have kind of let the garden go. I had my hip replaced, about almost a month ago to the day. It was on the 22nd of February. September. Gee whiz. Had that surgery done, so I've been laid up for, about the first 2.5 weeks I was on my walker, and last week I started kind of walking independently, so I can do some stuff. I can't do anything too crazy, so I can't, tear the garden down and get it put to bed for the winter yet. That's gonna be a couple more weeks. So I think after I get everything harvested tonight, because I don't want to lose this stuff in a frost, then I can slowly start tearing up some of the plants over the next week or two. And then what I'll probably have to do is in the middle of November, get, my cousin or my nephew and my son over here, and maybe if we can get a yard or so of compost, have them do all the shoveling, a wheelbarrow, come over, dump it, then I can spread it. I just can't be lifting a lot of stuff right now. I actually grabbed a bag of soil today, like a 3 cubic yard bag, and picked it up and hurt myself a little bit. So I know, the first 6 weeks I'm not supposed to lift anything, I think over 25 pounds or 20 pounds, some crazy shit like that. Ooh, sorry about the language. Some crazy stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn this video around, kind of show you what we got going on here, what's left, and then I'll do a little bit of a harvest video. I'll try not to make it too long. So in here, you see I got the insect covering, and I'm actually gonna put a frost blanket over these for the summer or winter. But I've got a cabbage right here. See this guy? He's ready. It's a small one, but he's ready. I'm gonna harvest that one tonight. I just got one from this spot a couple days ago. I think it was last weekend. Mixed in here, I got another cabbage. This is a different variety, and you can see its head is very small and it's not gonna be ready. And then amongst here, I've got some broccoli, some cauliflowers. They're not forming a head yet. So what I'm gonna do is they'll go dormant over the winter. So I'll get the frost covers on there so they don't die. And as long as I make sure they get some water, they should be okay to come back when spring comes around and continue to grow and form a head. You can see here, I also have a little bit of lettuce. Now this, I don't know what's gonna come of it. I'm actually planting it end of August, and it never really germinated. I'm actually planting like 3 rows back here. Never germinated. I got a little bit of spinach that germinated and then died from the heat. And then all of a sudden, about the middle of September, right before my surgery, I saw those guys kind of poking through. So what we have there is, the lettuce trying to come through. So we'll see. Again, it shouldn't die over the winter. With the restrict light, it's not going to grow a lot. With the frost cover, I'll see, might get enough to kind of cut it up and get a bowl or so out of it. If it had started germinating like I wanted to in, sorry, I just had that focus there. But if it had germinated like I wanted it to when I initially planted it, I think I would have been able to get at least one harvesting now, and then another one probably mid-November. But, it's fine. I'll probably get one harvest, like I said, maybe middle November, get enough for a salad or two, which is fine. And with the cold weather, it'll be crisper. The sugars and the different things in the starches, they react different to the cold and the heat. That's why a lot of times in spring, when you plant your lettuces and whatnot, as it gets hotter out, they start to bolt and they get that bitter taste and go to seed faster because of the heat. So, all right, and then just kind of taking you through here. So right up here, my no birds allowed sign, which is pretty funny. We actually do allow the birds in here. They'll come and eat some of the bugs and whatnot. I just got to put that up there because they do like my peas in the spring, and they'll come in and tear up all the peas. And any of my stuff I start from seed, I got to make sure it's covered till it gets big enough. But up here, you'll see I got a small little spaghetti squash, and this one has the yellow tint. And if you give it the thumbnail test, you can see it's probably cured enough that this guy will last a little while in storage. This one, not as yellow, not really passing the thumbnail test. Gets a pretty good dent in there. I guess you can't see because of the leaf, but it gets a fairly decent dent. But I think it's pretty far along, even though it's not orange. Now I got this big guy, and this is a pretty good sized one. Whoa, way too close, sorry. But this one is not even close to passing the test. So this one will have to be eaten pretty fresh. But that's okay. I've got 3 or 4 in the cabinet already, or I'm sorry, the pantry, for that I can store over the next couple months for the winter, and I've given away 3 or 4 to friends, so that's good. I got a pretty good showing of those. Now this over here is the tiger melon, and I got excited and picked one of these earlier when it was more to this color and darker black, and it was not ripe at all. It was very hard and not juicy. What I found is the whole thing should get this rusted color. So I'm gonna just go on a whim here and see. This isn't as dark, but this as the last one, but it's definitely not as light as this other side. So I'm gonna say this guy's maybe half ripe. Another one up here, same type of thing going on. It's still pretty dark. I don't think it's gonna be too ripe, but again, you know, we're expecting a frost definitely tomorrow, and it's gonna get cold tonight. So I'm gonna go for it. Pick those, kind of see what happens. And then we can go from there. You know, if it's not ripe enough, then obviously I know for next year. And it started off to the point where they didn't come out very good at first. You know, they came out and the plant kind of died off on me, and I thought it was a goner. And then, you know, later in summer when the heat kind of relaxed, the plant really took off and it started setting fruit. So I was excited just to get something, and we'll see. I tried them last year and it didn't do well. I didn't get any fruit last year, so happy to see that. But as you can see, that's the trellis, and everything's kind of dying off, but I got my spaghetti squash and my melons up there. Those were some peas, and I have the netting on it because of the birds. But again, those didn't get enough water when I was out of commission with my surgery. Those peas died off, so I'll just cut those down. I do have another set that's producing some peas. Over here in the same bed, I have my second planting of zucchini. So I did zucchini early in the year in another bed, and then sorry, I am kind of all over the place here this video, but I stepped on something. I don't want to lose my footing and fall. That would not be good. I fell the day after my surgery with my walker, and that wasn't good, so want to avoid that. I did my second planting of, oh my gosh, I didn't even see that one. Second planting of zucchini over here, and the first batch, you know, really had a bunch of squash bugs, and it was tough battling those. They took out a couple of my plants, but I still got quite a few zucchini. I've been able to cut some up and freeze it. I've been able to give a bunch away, eat some fresh, and got about 4 more on here tonight that we're gonna go ahead and harvest. These ones, like I said, I started by seed. I wanna say in July in the house, and I got these planted out probably the end of July. I planted them probably the end of June, early July. Grew them about 3 weeks indoors, got them planted out here, kept a net screen over them until they started producing flowers, so hopefully that the squash bugs wouldn't get them. And then once they started producing flowers, I took that off, pollinating. So you can see I've got 1, 2, it's getting kind of dark so you can't really see those. I've got 2, 3, so I got about 4 on here. Here's another one over here that you can see. Some are bigger than others because they've been going for a while. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get all these picked. And then the thing that I'm most excited about here, see, these are my other peas. Getting a few on there, but like I said, the first batch kind of died off. They didn't get enough water. These ones are hanging in there. I've got some peas on them, and we'll see how they do with the frost. They should make it. They're a cold hardy crop. What I'm most excited about over here are my peppers. This is probably the best pepper harvest I think I've ever had. In the last few years, my peppers haven't always done as good. Well, in fact, they haven't done that great at all. Typically, I get 1 or 2 peppers on a plant, and the pepper plant's not that big. Something I learned this year is about staking, because I actually had pepper plants that grew well and have a lot of peppers on them. So some of them have bent over and cracked because they didn't have the support. Again, it's getting kind of dark, but you can see these, some little green peppers here. Got this guy's got some orange tint to them. Got some red. I've been trying to leave these on as long as I can so they can kind of sweeten up and get to where they need to be. This plant over here, like I was talking about, massive peppers, and it has actually broke from the weight and, you know, with it being bent over. But look at this. You got 1, you got 2, 3. There's a orange one down there. This branch up here Not sure you can see it because it's getting dark. You can't see it, but this branch up here has another, what, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, let me get in there. 2, 3, 4, 5 more peppers on it. So that plant was a great producer. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on pause. Initially, I was gonna try to just pick this and let it record, you know, and then try to edit with the fast forward through the picking. But I'm gonna be honest, it's getting so dark, I don't think you'd be able to see that anyways. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on pause. I'll get everything harvested, picked, and then I'll turn the video back on and show you what we end up at the end. All right. All right, peeps. So I'm glad I didn't try to do the recording as I did that and then went through, got so dark so fast. But real quick, just gonna kind of show you what we come up with here. Sorry you didn't get to see me actually harvest it, but this right here, I got a spaghetti colander full. The very bottom of it here is gonna be your jalapenos. And then up here on the top, we've got some Cubanelle peppers, which are known as Italian frying peppers is what they call them. Okay, it's a sweet pepper. Some are green. I've got some that have gone to dark red. You know, and obviously they get sweeter with color. But again, don't want to let them go to waste, so just got them out there. Now this big bucket over here, super excited about. These are my bell peppers, and I got some sweet pimentos. These are little pimentos, your little teardrop peppers. But no, I got some orange and red bell peppers. I got some purple beauties in here, and of course some green bell peppers down there on the bottom. So a variety of colors. I'm super excited about that. I've had about 2, maybe 3 harvests so far. This is the best year I ever had for peppers. In the past, I think I said this earlier when I was talking about the break-in, you know, I'd get 1 or 2 bell peppers per plant. Last year I did good on jalapenos, got a lot of Cubanelles, but my bell peppers didn't do good. This year I used a shade cloth and try to take some other measures so they wouldn't lose all their flowers during the heat. And it's just outstanding. I mean, one of those bushes over there right now that I picked, I had 6 bell peppers on 1 plant of the bush. So anyways, very excited to have this many peppers at the end of the year harvest after already harvesting a good 2 or 3 times. And again, these are gonna go, you know, I've got a lot already preserved. I'll preserve some of these, dice them up, freeze them, whatever. But also give them away. I have some friends who really enjoy the fresh produce, and you know, that's what it's all about. I enjoy growing this stuff, and it's great to have some and put away for our family, but it's also great to give it away and see the smiles on everybody's faces. Here are those spaghetti squash I talked about. Again, you can see this one's deeper in color. These 2 will have to be used sooner for fresh eating, not really storing, but I have a friend who really loves spaghetti squash, so I'm going to eat 1, give 1 to them, and I have some to store. Over here, we've got some zucchinis. Showed you guys those earlier. I tried to in there. Got a pumpkin back here. This guy, the pumpkin plant was dead, so it's not going to get much riper, but it's got actually like a nice little rust color to it. Partly black, some orange, a little rusty. So that's great. My wife likes how the plant is still attached. Here's a cabbage. Since I didn't have a lot of room on the table, I picked off all the big leaves around it, but that's a nice, you know, shot put size condensed cabbage, which is great. Picked one of those last week too, so we can dice those up, make a cabbage casserole, something. Over here I got the tiger melons I was showing you guys. This one I think is ripe. It's got the rust color. These 2 are a little bit darker, you know, so probably not going to be as juicy. But I figured if I leave them out here, they're going to freeze and die anyways, so I'm about to bring them in and see what I can get out of them. One last little bowl of tomatoes and some cherry tomatoes in there that I can use to whip up a salsa. And then to cap it off here at the end, I've got some herbs. I went ahead and pulled out our basil, another bushel of basil. So we'll hang that on dry. I have a friend who likes that. We'll get her hooked up. Some rosemary, same thing. Get that dried. And then on the end here, we got some Thai basil. So yeah, lots of good stuff. Great end of the season harvest. Been a great year this year. Look forward to the stuff that I have. You know, the broccoli, the cauliflower and whatnot that I try to overwinter. Haven't had success with that in the past. But I learned some lessons. You know, I've got the bug net on, and the last couple years I tried to do that, got eaten by bugs. So I'm taking a head start with the bug net. Those cabbages I was gonna actually overwinter if they didn't get ripe in time, but you know, got them out at the end of July, used a shade cloth during the heat, and yeah, they've ripened up here in the middle of October. So overall, great harvest this year, great garden. I'm very excited about it. I think would have been a little bit better at the end if I didn't have to have the surgery. And the last month, like I said, has gone away from me. I've had other people helping me out trying to do the watering and whatnot, but it really has, some of the weeds have taken over and it didn't get some of the water it needed. But I appreciate their help trying to help me get that there. And then the next step will be just kind of breaking it down, putting the beds to rest for the winter. You know, I'll give them a little bit of amendments. I'll put some compost over them and then put a little bit of cardboard on the top. Last year I used the leaves, and I had a lot of pests this year, so I'm gonna go back to putting the cardboard on the top just to keep all that compost from leaching down through the garden bed. You know, you want to get it on there, but you don't want all the nutrients to leach out before you have a chance to plant in it. But I do like to do it in the fall, so that way the garden bed is ready come spring. You're not disturbing the soil, doing all that. It's just ready to take off the cardboard and plant. Anyways, thanks for coming along on my little garden journey video. You know, like and subscribe to the channel. I'm probably going to be moving this stuff over to its own gardening channel, but definitely any comments or thoughts, go ahead and throw them down in the box.